thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll just give it one more minute for a few more people to join, and then we'll get started. Right, well, I think we've got most people here, so we'll get started as to not take up all of your evening. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. My name's Ellie, so I work as part of West Suffolk College, but that is part of the ECG as a whole, which is the Eastern Colleges Group, and that's who's hosting this evening. So for anyone who's not sure about what ECG is, as I've said, it's the Eastern Colleges Group. So that is made up of 3 colleges. It's West Suffolk College, one sixth form college, and Abbeygate sixth form college. And it's essentially 3 sister colleges that work collaboratively across Suffolk, producing, outstanding education for our young people across the county. And that includes sort of staff working collaboratively as well. So as I've said, this evening is hosted by ECG. So hopefully you'll see some familiar faces throughout the evening from people that your young people may know already. So just a couple of housekeeping rules before we get started. If for whatever reason you have a camera and a mic function, hopefully you shouldn't, but if you do, if you could just make sure that those are turned off for us, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. Also, this evening will be recorded, so if you do have to nip off at any point or you've got someone who wasn't able to make it, there will be a recording available, and that will be up on all 3 of the websites for one, Abbeygate and West Suffolk. An email will be going out afterwards as well after the event, which will include the link to the recording and the slides that have been used for this evening for the talks, as well as some useful links that people have been speaking about in their presentations, just to help you do that little bit of extra further research if you want to. In terms of the running order for this evening, so it's kind of split into 2 chunks. So the first chunk is 6 till 7, and that is primarily focused on university. So we're going to have the lovely Lou who will be starting us off, and she's talking about the different post-18 pathways that your young people can go down. We've then got Claire and Rachel who will be talking about sort of student finance and funding situations around university. And Rachel is our parent ambassador, so she's been in your position, she knows exactly how you're feeling, and she'll be able to provide some insight as to what it's like as a parent supporting the young people. We've then got University Studies from West Suffolk College talking, and that's just showing the local offer that there is in terms of university. We've got Rio, who is discussing our Aiming Higher programme, so any of those students that are wanting to go for those top tier universities. And then we'll have a Q&A. Please do feel free, if you have any questions throughout the evening, to pop them in the chat. We've got lots of lovely people from all 3 colleges squirreling away in the background, and they'll be answering all of your questions that you have. But any that don't get answered, there'll be a designated Q&A at the end of that hour, and hopefully we'll be able to answer those questions for you. Then the second half of the evening is 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock, and that's talking about the different other progression routes. So we've got Phil, who's talking about apprenticeships. We've got Gaynor, who'll be talking about gap years and different opportunities for young people to make the most of those years. Kaylee, who'll be discussing employment, and then again we'll finish off with a Q&A. But as I've said, if you do have any questions throughout the evening, please do pop them in the chat, and we'll try our best to answer them as best as we can. So without further ado, we will get started with our first speaker, which is the wonderful Lou. Lou is a fantastic careers advisor who works across the Eastern Colleges group, and she'll be talking to you about the post-18 pathways. So Lou, over to you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name's Louise O'Dwyer, and I'm a careers advisor. I work in both Abbeygate Sixth Form College and also one Sixth Form College. I want to give you an overview of all the amazing progression routes that are available for your young person. And I'm just going to share my screen with you now so that I can show you what I have prepared. Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry, I can't get that off the screen. Right. Yeah, so as to talk about the amazing progression pathways that are available to young people, starting with university, degree apprenticeships, employment and volunteering, gap year placements, self-employment, and I want to talk a little bit about T-levels, which are already being offered at West Suffolk College, and higher technical certificates, which are starting this year. So as I said before, one popular option is university, and lots of young people want to go to university in the traditional way, going to a new city or a new county and experience life and study somewhere completely different. But obviously on our doorsteps in the Eastern region, we have some fantastic universities. So if they prefer to commute, then there's that option as well. They might like to also study online, and there's also studying for a degree part-time as well. There are over 50,000 higher education courses, so there's certainly plenty to choose from and something for everyone. For a young person who really wants to carry on with a subject that they love, or a combination of different subjects that they love, they can do an academic subject at university. If they have a particular career focus in mind, they could do a vocational degree, and there's lots of those out there, like architecture, law, journalism, occupational therapy, paramedic science, surveying, whatever it is that their career focus is, there'll be a course out there for them. Moving on from the university degrees, there's also the degree apprenticeships that are available, and apprenticeships. And this is another great opportunity where young people can in employment, they can gain their degree at the same time, and there's lots of different areas where these degree apprenticeships and apprenticeships are available in IT, engineering, construction management, business, finance, laboratory science, and also the new police degree apprenticeships. And there's more and more degree apprenticeships and apprenticeships that are emerging in so many different sectors. Top companies are advertising every year for college leavers, and I put a selection of different fantastic companies that are always recruiting every year. So that's another fantastic option for young people. Obviously, they can apply for university and degree apprenticeships before they leave college, so they keep themselves in a nice, strong position. Another option is some young people want to go straight into employment, and again, a lot of young people really enjoy working in hospitality, and this is an area where they can get management experience very quickly at a very young age, so very valuable experience. There's also agencies to help young people to get into employment, an organisation like Opus who can help young people to get their foot into the door of the public sector, and other agencies like Helping Hands who can also help young people to get experience in the work sector. Volunteering is another great way to gain experience and insight into different career areas. Some young people can do full-time volunteering if they want to after college, or they can go abroad and do voluntary services overseas, or if they prefer to do it part-time, they can find fantastic vacancies through Volunteer Suffolk. So other fantastic opportunities for young people. There's also gap year placements, and this is where companies will offer a good salary to a young person, where they can work in a professional job for 6 months or a year, and it's another great way to gain insight and to gain experience, and to really sort of thoroughly find out if that's definitely the area that they'd like to work in. Also self-employment. Obviously, all young people are natural sort of digital natives, and some fantastic jobs. Businesses have been set up online through Shopify and e-commerce and other different sites. So it's a great opportunity for young entrepreneurs to set up on their own. Some young people might want to train and gain particular skills I'm trained to be a personal trainer and then go freelance. So again, another fantastic opportunity for young people to become self-employed if that's what they'd like to do. And now I just wanted to talk briefly about the technical levels which are already being offered at West Suffolk College. They follow on from GCSEs and are like the equivalent to an extended BTEC level 3 qualification or the equivalent to 3 A levels. So again, these are already running at West Suffolk College and they're very in tune with employers, and they prepare people for different industries, and they have fantastic industry placements with those T levels. This year, excitingly, a new qualification is emerging, and it's called the Higher Technical Certificates. For those of you who remember, they still have them, the Hnds, but when I was young, they're lot of Hnds in very specific work to train for a particular role in work, and they're level 4 and 5, just like the foundation degrees and the Hnds. The first HTCs in digital occupations are being rolled out this year, and next year there'll be health science and construction HTCs. By 2025, all of their HTCs qualifications will have rolled out. Now, I know that I've only just briefly touched upon all the different amazing routes and opportunities that there are for young people, and also the speakers following on from me will add more to this and give more insight and depth and talk about these options a bit further. Well, I'd just like to say thank you very much for listening to me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay. I'll just stop sharing there.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lou, for that. I think it's brilliant. It's really interesting to see all of the different routes that are available to the young people now, considering there are so many options, you know. So next up, we have lovely Claire. Claire, I will let you introduce yourself and Rachel, so over to you.
Lovely, thank you. I'm just going to get my presentation ready to share, and then I will introduce myself. Okay, hello and welcome to Progression to University. My name's Claire and I'm a higher education champion, and I work for the University of Suffolk as part of the NICO project. And this evening I will be providing an introduction to NICO. I will also be providing an introduction to university and exploring the benefits of going to university. And alongside that, I'll also be providing an introduction to student finance. Following on from my presentation, we're lucky to have our parent carer ambassador, Rachel Turner, who has already supported their young person through their post-18 progression. So Rachel will be able to give a nice overview of her journey, and there'll be an opportunity for any questions that you'd like to ask her. So first of all, to introduce NICO. So NICO stands for the Network for East Anglian Collaborative Outreach. NICO is a government-funded programme which supports students to make informed decisions about their future pathways. So at the centre of our approach is our Take Your Place programme of activities. Take Your Place is delivered to students by our higher education champions who are based in schools and colleges across the region. So I'm a higher education champion for the Eastern Colleges group. So that's one sixth form college, Abbeygate sixth form college and West Suffolk College. So as a higher education champion, I deliver a variety of activities to support students to make informed decisions about their future pathways. That means I deliver impartial advice to provide that progression support. And this is through many different ways, as you can see on the slide there. Some of the ways are through workshops. So for example, I will support students in helping them to realise their skills and interests so they can obviously make those informed decisions about particular pathways they're interested in. I also provide sort of personal statement workshops to support students who are interested in progressing into university and much more. I also actually support students with, sorry, I think I've, sorry about that. Sorry, excuse me. I also support students with organising events and open days to help students support with their subject interests. So as a higher education champion, I work from a progression framework, and that covers 3 core themes which we develop with students to help them identify the pathway that's right for them. So at the centre of our framework is the student making that informed decision, and we support students with awareness and preparedness. And that's to help students understand the different higher education pathways and practical steps and decisions to get them to that particular pathway. We also support students with their skills and aptitudes, so supporting that development of skills for life and the benefits of progression into education and beyond when they go into employment. And then finally, we support students developing that subject-related interests and ambition, so students can explore and set their own goals to help meet their potential. We also work in partnership with 5 universities and 9 further education colleges, as you can see on the screen. So now I'm going to provide an introduction to university and explore the benefits of going to university. So one of the most frequent questions asked by both students and parents is actually, is university worth it? So here are the top 4 reasons why people decide to go to university, and I'm just going to discuss each reason briefly. So first of all, going to university is obviously a big commitment in both time and money, but by getting a degree, your young person will be making a big investment into their future. It will increase their chances of getting a good job of which they enjoy, as well as improving that earning potential. So looking at financial benefits, on average, graduates can earn up to 20% more in a lifetime than a non-graduate. It's estimated that on average, the starting salary for graduates can be from 24,000, which obviously can soon increase once they become more experienced within their role. It's also worth noting that, however, for some graduates, depending on which sector they progress into, this salary can be significantly higher, depending obviously which sector they do go into. For career prospects, it's worth noting that for some careers, a university degree is essential. So, for example, a doctor, lawyer, or forensic scientist. But there are actually many non-specialist jobs that require people to have that higher level qualification, although they might not require a particular subject. So as I mentioned earlier, there are many careers that require a degree because of the specialised knowledge. But also I'd like to just point out, and it's something that Louisa mentioned earlier, that there are some careers that, actually on the screen here, such as a police officer, social worker or teacher, that it is actually possible to access these career pathways through a degree apprenticeship. But it's still worth noting that your young person would need to study part-time alongside that apprenticeship to gain that undergraduate or master's degree. So again, at university, your young person will be able to develop an array of transferable skills. And these are just some of the skills on screen that you can see that the university experience will be able to support with. And these transferable skills will be, they'll be able to take them through to employment too. So I'd just like to mention that university is not just about gaining academic achievements, but it also provides an opportunity for self-development. For many young people, this might be the first time that they actually live independently, and so they learn to become responsible for themselves in many different ways. University will provide them with an opportunity to meet lots of new people, as well as being able to experience different societies and sports clubs. So I would say that university actually is both academically and socially enriching. So I'd just like to discuss a little bit more further about course choices. For many young people, one of the hardest things I think is actually knowing which university and which course to apply to. So as you can see from the map, there are over 370 HE providers to choose from and more than 30,000 courses to choose from. So it's a really good idea to begin having those discussions with your young people early, just to start exploring their interests and what kind of courses they would like to study. Also thinking about the kind of universities that will really help them meet their potential. So now I'm just going to provide an introduction to student finance. This will cover the basics of student finance, but if you do have any individual questions, then please do contact student finance directly or go onto their website. So first of all, there are two main costs associated with higher education. The first being tuition fee loan and the second being the maintenance loan. So the tuition fee loan, the student finance is a way for students from any financial background to fund their university study. So the cost of the course for a full-time undergraduate course is £9,250. And I'd just like to emphasise that actually this is not income assessed. So this is available to all UK students entitled to the tuition fee loan, regardless of the household income. I'd just like to also emphasise that students do not receive this money directly. This money is actually paid directly to the university and will cover all of the full tuition fee. The second cost associated with university is obviously the maintenance loan. So the maintenance loan covers the living costs for your young person, such as accommodation, food, bills, course equipment, obviously social life. And again, it's available to all UK students on a full-time undergraduate course. However, the amount that your young person will receive will be dependent because it is means tested. So therefore, the amount you receive will depend on your individual circumstances, such as your household income, where your young person lives and will be studying. And again, just to emphasise that this money will be paid directly to your young person in 3 instalments. So I just want to provide a little bit more information regarding the maintenance loan and how it's means tested. So you can see here by the table on the slide that actually the amount that your young person can receive will be dependent on whether your young person decides to continue living with you if they go to university, or if they move outside of the household, and whether they live inside or outside of London. If your young person doesn't receive the full amount, it's a really good idea to start considering other ways to fund and support their living costs. For example, this might be through part-time work, it might be through bursaries and scholarships, or maybe family contributions. So again, you'll be able to go onto the student finance website and go onto the student finance calculator and put in your details, and then that will provide you with an estimate of how much maintenance loan that your young person will receive. So again, I'm just going to draw your attention to another great website. So that's Save the Student website. And again, this has provided information about household income and how much your young person could be entitled to if they were to stay living at home, if they would decide to move away and living in or outside of London. So again, there is some extra support available for students. You'll be able to find this information whether you're entitled to bursaries or scholarships or grants, and this can be found either on the Student Finance website. It can also be found further information regarding your extra support through the Ucas website, which is also an excellent resource too. I'd also recommend looking on at the your young person's chosen university and looking to see if there are any bursaries and scholarships and grants available through the university too. So I'm just now going to really provide a quick overview about repayments. I think this is probably one of the most worrying factors for many parents and young people. So to begin with, just to make you aware that your young person will only start paying back their student loan once they earn a certain amount of money. Currently, it's the 27,295. And just to let you know that actually they'll only begin paying the repayment once they reach this particular threshold. So the payment that your young person will begin paying, is actually through the employer pay as you earn PAYE system. Just to also make you aware that actually if their salary does fall below this, they stop working or maybe they take a career break, then the repayments will stop and they will only begin again once you start earning within that threshold too. Something I do sort of talk to students about regularly is that often currently, if you sort of earn over 29,500, the student repayment is actually £16. This is often actually cheaper than a large, very well-known branded pizza that they might come across, which is can be up to sort of £20. So I think it's just quite helpful for students and for parents to sort of also, compare some of the spending to support that as well. So thank you ever so much for listening. I'm now going to stop sharing the screen and introduce Rachel Turner, our parent and carer ambassador.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. And Claire, are you going to share my slides? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Rachel. Now, there we go.
Thank you. So I've got 3 children who are various different stages through the university programme, and also I'm at university myself. So I have got one child about to start, my youngest is about to start Norwich University of the Arts, doing a 4-year fine arts course. And then I have another, my middle child, she's at Norwich University of the Arts doing an illustration course. And my oldest finished at University of Suffolk a few years ago. And I'm at UEA doing a master's course in gender studies, a part-time master's course. So I just wanted to say that really there's no age limit. So if your young person's going to university and you think, oh, that looks really interesting, I might like to do that myself, then look into it for yourself, and you could get a student loan and you could go to university as well. It's do you want me to share my screen, Claire, or
Sorry, Rachel, is it not showing?
No.
It might be. Yeah, I do apologise. Are you able to share your screen, Rachel?
Yeah, I'll just do that. No, sorry, I don't have permissions to do that.
Let me just try again for you. Can you see that okay?
Yes, yeah. Are you all right? Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So if you go on to the next one, please. And then the next one. Okay. Yeah, so also I've had different experiences with my children regarding their education, and my youngest went through GCSEs during COVID, so he didn't actually do any exams, and that, I think it's been really challenging for young people regarding COVID, and it's had a sort of real impact on their mental health as well. So my children did BTECs. One of them did a BTEC in media and another one in art. And then also my youngest isn't doing A-levels or a BTEC. There's a big impact there regarding COVID. So he got into do a 4-year art degree at Norwich University of the Arts based on his portfolio. So you might think, well, no, I've got my child has to do A-levels, they have to do this, but there's so many different progression pathways for young people, and it doesn't always mean that you have to get A-levels, especially to do an art course. And the other thing is the next progression stage is that people could then go on to a master's, and I says that age is no barrier. Yeah, next slide, please, Claire. The student loan, sometimes this can be look sort of quite overwhelming when you see all these huge numbers, thousands of pounds, and you think, oh no, my child's going to be in debt for the rest of their life. But it doesn't work like that, because as Claire said, it depends on how much you earn. So I've taken a loan out for my master's, and I'm now semi-retired, so I know that I'm not going to be paying that loan back because I won't earn enough money. And then so your young person, it's only until they start earning over that 27,000 that they will need to pay any money back. But also with your student loan, if you're on a low income, a lot of universities have bursaries, and Norwich University of the Arts has a £500 equipment bursary. So as Claire said, look at the university website. I know UEA does something similar, but because University of the Arts need a lot of equipment and materials, then they give the young person a credit of around £500 a year to buy art materials. And also, if your income changes while your child or young person is at university, get in contact with the student loans company, because my income has changed because I'm now drawing on a pension, a company pension. So I filled in a form, I submit it to Students Loan Company because my income has gone down. So therefore they reassess the amount of money that they will give the young person. And it's really important to do that, because otherwise students loan look at sort of like 2 years prior of your earnings. And then the other thing I would advise is, if you do have to top up student loan, pay it every week to your young person. I paid it in one monthly to my oldest, and then he like spent it in the first few days. So I would advise spreading it out over the month. Yeah, next slide, please, Claire. Repayments. I think Claire's mentioned all of that, but I just mentioned that it is itemised on your payslip as well, so it will tell you exactly how much student loan that you're paying when you start to work. Then next slide, please, Claire. And the other thing, talking about money matters, encourage your young person to find a part-time job, because it's not just about earning a bit of extra money, but it's all about getting that extra confidence, meeting people outside of university. And a lot of universities have a careers website and service, like UEA do and University of Suffolk, and there's lots of jobs around at Christmas. The other thing, student bank accounts, shop around, because you can get all sorts of things like Amazon vouchers, free overdrafts, rail cards. Unfortunately, I didn't bother shopping around, because the rail card, which my daughter has, goes up to the age of 24. So I wasn't eligible for that one. But yeah, definitely shop around. The other thing is discount cards. There's something really good called a totem card, and you can get that as soon as you're 18. You don't have to wait until you go to university. It gives you 10% off at the co-op. So that's I use that all the time. And there's uni days and there's student beans. They're all apps on the that you can sign up for. Your young person can sign up for and get discounts. Yeah, next slide, please, Claire. Oh yes, that's the last slide. As I say, thank you very much for listening. And if you've got any questions for me, please add them to the chat. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Claire and Rachel, for that really interesting insight into it. I think it's really useful for parents and carers to hear it from a parent perspective as well. I think particularly with the financial side can often be a common worry that we come across when we're working with young people. So as Rachel just mentioned, if you do have any questions, don't forget to pop them in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And anyone that's just joined us, I've noticed a few new names popping up. The event is being recorded, so there will be, after the event is finished, an email going out in the next couple of days with a link to the recording and also a link to the presentations that are being used and some useful websites as well that everyone's talking about. Just to pick up on those discount cards as well, Rachel. Oh, Uni Days is fantastic. I've got a Uni Days discount card, and that's from 16 plus. So if you've got a young person now who's already 16, 17, they can get a Uni Days card. You get lots of discounts off cinema and restaurants and ASOS and all sorts. So thank you so much, both of you, for that. Our next speaker is going to be Andrea Healey from University Studies, and she'll give you an overview of the local offer that University Studies has. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. Sorry, just making sure that I can upload my screen for you there. Let's have a little look. I think we're there. Let me know if you can see that. I'll just put that onto main screen. Has that come through? Oh, it's disappeared. Keeps doing this, shutting it down. Sorry, let me do that again. Slideshow. There we are. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, we can see that. Thank you, Andrea.
No problems. Okay, so yeah, my name's Andrea Healey. I'm Head of Creative Technologies over at University Studies at West Suffolk College in Bury St Edmunds. We basically have been running degrees since 2003. We have new name, new sort of design and a new building. And we sit opposite sort of Abbeygate at the back of West Suffolk College. We're really pleased to sort of offer the new set of degrees that we've got with the University of East Anglia. So all of the students that graduate from University Studies leave with a University of East Anglia degree. And what we're really sort of keen, and maybe the slightly different USP that we've got, is that we offer integrated sort of industry innovation and education together. Because of the amount of industry input that we have into the degrees that we offer. So as I've said, you get a UEA validated degree, and you haven't got to go too far, especially if you live in Bury St Edmunds, it's nice and close. One of the real things that it does is minimise the cost by studying, you know, just as sort of Claire was saying too, that you're minimising your cost by staying close. And I think also, just as sort of said earlier, my daughter has just come back from 3 years away at university, which did cost her greatly. And one of the things that she said on retrospect was that actually, especially with how, you know, COVID affected degrees recently, she wished that she had stayed at home, simply because we were open and we were still running a lot of our courses as soon as we could. And I know that over where she was studying, they didn't. They sort of remained online for quite some time. So, you know, something to consider. We have much smaller class sizes, so that the support that you receive really enhances your opportunities. For example, my sort of course I teach is music, and all of my students would on a regular basis go out and work in industry, not on their own, but with us. So the course team will go with them. Every student that I've got will go and do a live recording with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Every single member of the group will go and do a recording with Britannia Row. So it's that opportunity also to be studying and sort of working your workflow in the career industry, but also having it taught to you in the classroom from the same team. We've got a real strong network of industry, that's local and national employers. And I think obviously because we have small classes, it's not a huge competition to be able to work with those employers. So I think that's definitely a strength for us. All of our degrees have been designed by our teams working with industry. So the way that we've designed them is they go from what industry is looking for, what skills gaps there are. We've worked them from industry down, so that we then work with a strong base of fundamentals at level 4, their first year when they join us, to make sure that we can progress them so that when they do actually get to the level 6 and they're due to leave, that they've got all of those skills in place. That the industry is basically looking for to secure that strong chance of achieving a job within the industry that they've obviously studied. Professional certification is included in a lot of the degrees, and accreditation. And that's industry memberships. So if they're doing video games, for example, in my area, there would also be members of Ucas, which is the games industry. So they get to go to a lot of events, they get to demonstrate their work, they get to enter competitions. They have professional certifications in music, which means that they don't just leave with a degree. They've got all of the latest software certifications, which places like the BBC, Sky would be looking for. So they do actually have an awful lot of stuff that a lot of other universities will charge for, included within the tuition of their main core modules. Obviously, we're really committed to equality of opportunities, and that's one thing, because we have those smaller class sizes, that we can really be on top of, and the strong student support as well. The team that we have here, are absolutely amazing, and they will know all of the students, whereas maybe in a larger institution, that's not something that's, it's not achievable. And we have a really impressive alumni, students that have graduated, become part of the students network, so that as they progress, they've got the opportunities to go and work with them, and to pick up their network as well. Bury St Edmunds is where we are, of course. I think the building, we've been working on it a lot in the last year. We have a real intimate sort of learning environment, but we've got some smaller classrooms, we've got studios, we've also got some cross-discipline collaboration, and for me that's been a really big thing to sort of work on. So for example, in my area, obviously because I'm creative technologies, I will make sure that my art students are working with the video game students, are working with the music students to cross-collaborate, have a look at the workflow. So somebody could design an album cover for somebody that's working on an album, and they can also sit in and take part of some of those classes if that's an extra interest for them, so that they could maybe pick up a little bit of maybe Adobe software training. If they're a music student, that might be something that they would like to do that's not actually in the degree. So that's an added extra, that's because we are a slightly smaller university, that we can offer. We've got a very big communal space. We've got great breakout rooms, good transport links. We're not far from the train station or the bus station, and the leisure centre's right next to us as well. So we're quite pleased with where we're situated. So for my area, what we offer, we've got BA Honours in Art Practice, we've got Graphic Communication, Commercial Music Production, Video Games Design, and Interactive Immersive Entertainment Technology. And for our area, we've also secured a new build. We have a fantastic new holographic creative area that's in the process of being built. It's costing 2 million, which will have an amazing Tesla suit. We're hoping that it will mean that we can offer out a lot more interactivity to everything that we do across the immersive tech area. Health and Human Science, that area sits with Laura. So we've got BA Honours in Counselling, Early Childhood Studies, Applied Sociology. We've got a Professional Policing degree that's been initiated, which is really looking exciting. Even I want to have a go of that. It's quite good fun. Psychology, Sociology and Criminology, and Psychology and Criminology, and we have English and History as well. And I think, again, it's that fact that we've got the integration across the areas. So, for example, some of the things that go on within sociology, we might want to apply some music to that as part of a dissertation. They've got the opportunity to do that. And I think because everything is integrated, it gives you a much wider opportunity. Again, in engineering, we've got engineering, electrical and electronic, and we've got the mechanical and the design and the manufacturing. And again, we work quite closely. Pete is head of that, and we work across the different areas to collaborate, so that they've got the opportunity to see what goes on within the other areas. We also offer HNCs and Hnds. So that's at level 4 and level 5. So for those that aren't quite sure what that actually means, that's the first and second year equal of the degree, which can be taken separately. We've got them construction in the built environment and site management and quantity surveying, which is quite popular. Engineering, obviously, again, electronic and electrical, and the mechanical. And business will be hopefully running this year. That's currently going under validation, but we are taking places for that currently. Also, one of our USPs, as I mentioned earlier, is the wraparound support. So the personal academic tutors here actually get to know all of the students. I can drop in and see at any time, book special sessions so that they know that they've actually got access to that. We've got 2 great work placement officers, which are often out and about and getting everybody in to see what they might like to do. For example, last week they took 2 of our music students over to a studio in Ipswich to have a look around and to do some work experience over there. And we've got a real strong SEND support here as well. And obviously with the changes in the world that we've got now, that's something that we're really keen for the mental health support and for SEND support to be one of our high priorities. The pastoral support as well, all of the tutors here have a big availability to be on hand to give you great support. Our careers, fantastic. I mean, I think Maggie's here today as well, so you know the careers advisor is brilliant. And I have to say that I'm not just saying this is what I'm informed from my students, that they couldn't ask for more in the support for that area. And also the same for finance and loans advice to take you through the steps as well, you know, of student finance. We've got a really exciting alumni. I've just given one example of Davide because obviously I know my own area amazingly well, but we have a huge array of students that go into the industry. Davide's one, just taken 2 of my students off to record front of house with Simply Red. But we've got, you know, the list is endless. If you have a look at our website, you'll see that there is quite a list of alumni that are now being uploaded because we've never really shouted about it. And the fact that we've got so many people working in the industry to which they've trained, sorry, losing voice, been a long day, is a real credit. And I think all of our course directors here, I have to say, you know, they live, breathe everything that they do. They're still in and about, even though the classes for today have finished. And I think also that goes as well for our access programs. So we have access programs. And again, you know, if any of the parents are interested, think this is something that they would like to do, our access programs lead straight into the degrees. And if you carry on to do the degree, then the fees for that access program are wiped out, so they wouldn't actually continue with that. How do you apply? Well, basically, once you've selected your course, go onto the website and have a look and see which one that you think, or which area. You don't have to apply for one, you could apply for more than one. Come and have a talk about that and then make your choice. You will need to make a Ucas account. That's something I myself tested out because I was quite interested in the process of applying. And you won't be able to see all the courses available, and that belongs to other universities, not just ours, if you haven't registered. So go and register on Ucas, and then you've got your ability to apply for your part-time direct through our website, if that's what you prefer, if it's not a full-time course. It then comes to us, we review it, and then you'll get an offer with the conditions through Ucas and emailed. You do have to accept your place. We have an awful lot of students apply for placements, really keen to do and accept their place to come onto the degree, but don't really follow it up once that's gone through, and then don't realise that they need to accept the place in order for that to be firm and for the rest of the placement to carry on before enrolment. Apply at the same time for financial support. I think people often get scared about applying for support. Don't, because until you've enrolled, you're not actually going to be charged for your course. So even if you don't take it any further, it's worth doing it early because it's a little bit of a long process. And as you know, already stated from previous people, it can be one of these things that takes a little bit of time to process. So it's worth doing it early. Keep in touch with us. Because we'll give you regular updates. We invite all of our applicants to events. For example, I'll give sort of a choice of things that we've got. So I've got lots of live sound recordings coming up. All of the students that are at level 3, year 2 that have applied will get an email. They get invited to do that in the summer. That goes onto their CV. So they've already started networking and collating a portfolio of work before they've even begun the degree. Then obviously just before we start in September, you get the opportunity to enrol, and once you've enrolled and you're actually properly onto the course, you'll be sent an invite to induction, We always make ours as exciting as we can. So you have your general induction, but you'll also have time with the course directors to come and actually get the course up and running. And yeah, we can't wait to see you once you start that course. We really take great excitement in our new cohorts and our new intakes. So please just visit us at University Studies. Thank you very much. And any questions as well, you know, if there are any, please pop them in, and we're happy to answer. Even if you think it's a strange question, you know, please do. If it's something that you're worried about, do let us know.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Andrea, sorry, for that insight. It's really useful to know as well that there is all that on your doorstep, literally, you know, for those students that potentially might not be able to leave home or are slightly worried. We know sort of those ongoing effects from COVID that it's had on young people as well. So fantastic. Thank you so much. So we are running a tiny little bit behind. So I'm going to pass over to Rio nice and quickly. So Rio is going to talk about Aim Higher. Thank you, Rio.
Thank you. Hi. So yeah, I'll just share my screen, get my presentation up. So this will be a kind of whistle-stop tour of the Aim Higher programme, but it's really to introduce it and let you know that what support is available for your young people. So we run the Aim Higher programme to support our students with applying to competitive university pathways, and in particular early entry courses. And that includes Oxford, Cambridge, medicine, dentistry and vet med. So the reason we call them early entry courses is because the deadline for these is the 15th of October, whereas standard university application deadlines are the end of January. So our students need a bit of kind of earlier support with these courses, and they also have a couple of different elements to them on top of the standard application as well. So that's what the Aim Higher programme is there to do, is to support those students to have the best chance of success. So I'll quickly talk about those different options. This will be very brief, but hopefully your students will get to hear a lot more from us across the term. So why Oxford or Cambridge? Well, I'm sure there's lots of reasons on the screen that you'll recognise, so their global reputation. They also have a very different learning style, so students will get to have a kind of more one-to-one appointments with their academics. They'll have supervisions where they get to speak about their subject with their teaching staff. Obviously the career prospects, employability as well, but with all of those benefits comes an incredibly highly competitive application. So a typical offer for Oxbridge is A star, A star, A to AAA. So I mentioned that the application process has a few different elements. So I said about the early October deadline, and that's when they have to submit their Ucas application, and that includes academic records, so we need those strong grades, a personal statement and the teacher reference. So another really important part of the Oxford application is subject exploration beyond the curriculum. And why that's important is because actually everybody applying for Oxbridge will have incredibly good grades, and to stand out, they're looking for candidates who have really taken their subject passions and explored that further. So there are lots of other elements. I am conscious of time, so I won't go into them in too much detail. But course choice and research is important, as they do have slightly different courses on offer at Oxbridge than in other universities. They have additional application forms that you have to submit and written work, admissions tests. So this is quite unique to Oxbridge and higher tier universities, is that admissions tests may be required, and all successful Oxbridge applicants will have been interviewed. So that's another thing that the Aim Higher programme helps to support students with. So if you have high grades, then you might also be looking at Russell Group universities. So this is a group of 24 universities. They are world renowned for their research and their facilities, and they are quite commonly found at the top of league tables. I won't go into too much detail, but I do advise that if you're looking at them, don't just look at them for them being a Russell Group university, but really investigate the courses that they're offering, the location, the facilities, and the content of the courses as well. So medicine and dentistry, again, this is a highly competitive pathway, and we will be having sessions available for students considering this route through the Aim Higher programme. The main difference with this is that it starts with career exploration. So you're not just choosing a university course, you are committing to a future career. Lots of the same elements in terms of course choice and university research, work experience and reflection. So I've put reflection on there because medical schools don't just want a huge list of everything you've done in terms of work experience. They want to see what you've gained from it, what impact it's had on you and what you've learned from that experience. So admissions tests for medicine and dentistry, you will have to sit a UCAT or BMAT admissions test. And then again, the 15th of October deadline for your Ucas application and interviews as well. And then just to touch on vet med, so again, that career exploration is really important, course choice and university research. Work experience and reflection. However, with vet med courses, lots of the vet schools in the UK will have very specific requirements about how much work experience they expect you to have. So again, early entry course, we're looking at that 15th of October deadline and interviews as well. You'll notice admissions test is missing. Only 2 of the UK vet schools ask for an admissions test, so it's more common that you won't have to sit those. So as I said, the AIM Higher programme is there to support students with all of these different elements of the application. We'll be doing that through lunchtime workshops and presentations. We'll hopefully have some good guest speakers coming in from different universities and utilising our alumni that have gone on to study at those courses. All of our AIM Higher students will be offered one-to-one appointments, and that may be with me, the AIM Higher manager, but it also might be with their PPTs and with our incredible teaching staff who do a lot to support these students as well. And then some physical and digital resources are available as well. So we have our AIM Higher Padlets, and my colleague Gaynor will mention these a bit later on, but that's a digital resource for our students to access. So as parents, what can you do to support? Well, definitely it's very research intensive. On the next slide, I have some links that you can use at home to start your research. So really just any support with kind of that element of the process. Discussions. So as you can see from all of those courses, passion for your subject and passion for the career is really important. So any discussions you can have with your young person about what they enjoy about their subject and getting them used to confidently speaking about their subject is really important. And also welfare, so it is quite an intensive process, so just the support that you can give them as well will make a huge difference. Finally, I just want to say that we have 2 lunchtime sessions coming up, so if your young person hasn't already signed up to these, then please encourage them to, even if they're just a little bit uncertain and they're not sure if they want to consider these routes. So that's Abbey Gate on Thursday and at 1 on Friday, so they should have emails in their student email account, so they can sign up to those on lunchtime this week. These are the links which will be on the slides available afterwards, and then I've also included my contact details, so if you do have any questions or you want a bit more detail than what I've gone into today, you can contact me. So I will stop sharing, hopefully. Yes, there you go. Oh, Ellie, you're muted, sorry.
Thank you. Cheers, Rio. So thank you so much for that. Just to add on to that as well, so Rio covers Abbey Gate sixth form and 1 sixth form, but if there are any students at West Suffolk College that do want help and do want to go for early entry, then they can come and approach me. So I'm Ellie Nice. I work for West Suffolk College as the Progression to HE advisor. So we can always book a one-to-one with your student at West Suffolk if they do want that support as well, and I can work with Rio and we can help support your student in that way as well. Just having a little look at the chat before we move on to the next section. So there are a couple of questions about things like when is early, when do we need to get our young people to apply? So in terms of Ucas and the Ucas process, the Ucas Hub, which is where the student creates their account and creates their application, is open from the 17th of May this year, and that's for students that are wanting to apply for September 2023. So they can create their account, but they can't actually submit their application until the 6th of September. this year. So that's when we're talking about early, is just getting on it now. So sort of around that 17th of May, making sure that they've made that started their research and really utilised the summer holidays, because that's when a lot of the open days and things will be happening. So any open days that can be attended over the summer holidays, fantastic. We will be sending out a lot of resources to your young people as well about how to write personal statements, things that they should be working on over the summer as well. So we'll include all of those links when we send that out to you after the event, along with the recording. So we'll include those dates in there as well, and perhaps some of those resources that we'll be sharing with your young people as well. Okay, so as we are approaching 7 o'clock, we are going to move on to the next stage of the evening. So our next speaker is Phil Stittle, and he's going to be talking about apprenticeships. So Phil, if you are there, hopefully, then I'll pass over to you, ready for your presentation.
Hi, thank you, Ellie. Yeah, I'm here. Hope
Thank
everyone
you.
can hear me okay. I will just add my presentation now, so bear with me 1 second. Excellent. Hopefully, let's say click through. There we go. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. Can I just get it okay from Ellie?
We can, yeah, perfect. Thanks, Bill.
Fabulous, that's great. Okay, so I'm talking about apprenticeships, the fabulous journey that could create a starting career for you. Apprenticeships have been around a long time, but what they have done is been revised by the government and by employers in 2017. So what you'll find when you look for an apprenticeship now is they've all been designed by employers for employers. So that is employers coming around a table and going, okay, which job roles do we need to put an apprenticeship to match against? And that is what they have done. So currently there's around 850 different apprenticeship routes available. They're called Apprenticeship Standards. And what they are, they're a full-time or part-time job with attached formal training. So basically it's the same way as you apply for a part-time job in Tesco's or your local shop. Actually, you're applying for a position that is employment. So it's employment with training, and that's always key to remember that to start with. They're available for 16 plus. There's no age limit, so you can be 65 and still need to develop your skills and find an apprenticeship, and actually absolutely fine. You can study alongside younger people on the course. What they do give you, they give you a chance to earn whilst you learn, and ensure that you've got some collateral in terms of your pay, in terms of career development. And actually, if you want to go to higher level, they're a great route to do exactly that. What they're designed to do is expand on career experience. So you've got job roles. What you're looking to do is to professionalize those, to ensure that the skills are correct, that you learn through what we support you with and also what your employer supports you with. We deliver around 20% of what is required within the apprenticeship, and the rest of the time the employer is delivering those skills to you day in, day out. What the benefits really align to are that you get a nationally recognised qualification that every employer understands and knows. So if at any stage you do change either employers or careers, actually what you've learned is totally transferable, and it gives you a great insight into which careers are available. So in terms of the pay and what it costs you nothing to train. It's all funded by the employer and or the government. Employers, the larger ones, the John Lewis's and Marshall Aerospace and British Sugar, they pay into what's called an apprenticeship levy. Now that levy they spend directly then on apprenticeship training. That training is to support you guys. What they won't pay for is the apprenticeship wage. And as you can see here, there's a minimum wage that apprentices must earn, and that and that is a starting point. So based on a 37-hour week is £177.97. Now that, as I said, is a starting point. What we have and what we do with working with employers is we look at how we can ensure that they get the best talent, and by getting the best talent, sometimes their starting wage has to be a lot more than that. Now on average ours is around another £1.40 on top of every hour, on top of that wage you can see there. And in terms of, it's a starting wage, and what employers do is generally top that wage up as you go through your apprenticeship. So in year 1 you might get X, in year 2 you might get Y, and once you achieve your apprenticeship and complete, you'll go on to the full-time wage of the other staff that you're working with. Around 90 to 95% of apprentices stay with the employer they train with, so it's a great way to get yourself into an employer and a career throughout. In terms of apprenticeships, every one of them is different. So some have a requirement for you to attend college 1 day a week, some have a requirement to attend workshops once a month, and some are totally delivered either online or in the workplace. What you will get from us is a rigorous training program, and that's individual to you guys, that fits what is the apprenticeship standard. And alongside that, you get some great support. So your program tutor is there to help you all along the way. So one-to-one support. If you need help with, your assignments or your work or evidencing, or you've got an issue at work, or you've got an issue in your home life, actually they're there to support you through that and help you along the way. And as mentioned before, they're a great route to higher and degree level apprenticeships. And in terms of the higher level and degree level apprenticeships, again, there's no fee to pay from yourselves, so it's a great alternative to university, and actually what you end up with is the same as you would study at university. So they're just embedded degrees within the degree and higher level apprenticeships. So in terms of the college, we train around 1,750 apprentices currently, and they start every day and they achieve every day. Around 950 different employers, and these might be one-man bands to multinational employers. I would say that it's very competitive over the applications for an apprenticeship. So when you're applying for a job, you need to ensure that you stand out. It's the same as probably on the Ucas application where you are applying to a university. Why should they give you the opportunity when there's somebody next to you with the same results and they've done a little bit more in terms of work experience or volunteering? Actually, it's down to you to stand out and really perform in an interview. We offer around 65 different apprenticeship standards, and there's more and more coming out each day. We try and map them to the local employment market. So what employers are requiring, we work with them and then develop those standards and offer them locally within the college. In terms of our reach, we are across the whole of whole of England at the moment, but our main majority is through Norfolk, Suffolk and Cambridgeshire. And in terms of our offer, we've got a vast array. So anything from business services, which might be accounting, payroll, HR, anything within the finance sector, that's what we cover. You've got other services such as the hospitality and hairdressing arena. In terms of electrical and plumbing, we've got the construction area within project management and construction management. And then there's engineering, which is a vast sector. There's so many different careers within engineering. It's not just the old school oil and dirt. It's actually very, very high tech, and that is what we're pushing and training people on. So as you can see there's lots of different career paths available. What you have to do is look out for the vacancies. So the vacancies are the first step. And if I just cover that in terms of the employers, what the employers will do, they'll work with us. They'll build their vacancy. So in there will be what they're looking for from you. It might be they're looking for a grade 5 in English and maths. It might be that they're looking for people that have undertaken a certain course or have undertaken certain work experience. In there, they'll tell you what you're expected to do. So your job roles, what apprenticeship you're going to be studying, the pay and the hours. So that will go onto the Find an Apprenticeship website and our own website, and you can then apply directly to those positions. I'll cover that in a second a bit more. But as you can see, what happens is when people get into studying an apprenticeship, they really do excel. The balance of work and earning and training really is a great combination. And, many great people have gone through apprenticeships. A lot I've seen, even I've signed up a long time ago, and they're now owning their own companies. They're managers in business. So actually what happens is you can see a great progression route through, and people really enjoy what they're studying. It's a great balance to find out exactly what you're doing and what you want to do. So in terms of the vacancies, as I said, find a vacancy, find an apprenticeship website. They're on our own website. We do social media posts, so keep an eye on those as well. If you do need CV, application or interview skills, we can help with that. We can help and work with you, ensuring that we take everything out of you if you don't know where to start, ensuring you're confident on your interview skills. It might be that you're, speaking like this via a Zoom call or a Teams call, or it might be a face-to-face. So it's how you dress, how you approach it, what you take with you. All of those things we can help you with if you want some one-to-one support. So please do contact us. Apprenticeship vacancies, in terms of timing, employers advertise throughout the year. So we'll have a whole raft of apprenticeship vacancies that are live now, and also that could come live before the summer. They will be for looking at either start immediately or starting from July, August, September. So ensure you have a look at that on the vacancy, see when they're looking to start. And there are some great companies out there and a great career path for you if you choose the apprenticeship route. Thank you very much. This is the contact details for the team. So please just drop us an email, apprenticeships@westsuffolkcollege.ac.uk or wsc.ac.uk, and we'll happily help you and support you on your career path. Thank you for listening, and happy to receive any questions.
Brilliant. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for that lovely insight into apprenticeships and all the different options. There are so many out there, aren't there, that you can go for. It's a fantastic route, I think. So there was one question that's just popped up. Oh, it's more for T-level, so I'm not sure if you'd be able to answer it, Phil, or if that's perhaps one for... Oh, Maggie's answered it in the chat. Don't worry.
Perfect. Excellent.
So someone had asked if do you get paid for any industry placements that you do on a T-level course? But Maggie has answered that with you could be paid, but they don't have to. So it may be a fundamental part of a T-level, and it's compulsory that it has to be done.
Exactly.
So lovely. Thanks for answering that, Maggie. Brilliant. Thank you, Phil.
Thanks so much.
Fantastic. So we will move on now to the wonderful Gaynor from 1/6 form, who's going to be discussing gap years, I believe, and super curricular activities that young people can do. Thank you, Gaynor.
That's right. Thanks, and welcome everybody. I'm just going to share my screen with you as well. So just bear with me one moment. Okay, so just to clarify, so this evening I'm going to be talking about the what your young person can do this summer. So it's aimed at providing you with details and the benefits of gap year, super curricular and employer-led opportunities to support your young person to explore their next steps and strengthen future employment and university applications. And some of the things that I'm going to cover are around travel, paid gap years, volunteering, virtual work experience, super curricular activities, Moocs, and then finally competitions. So a gap year can take many forms, but generally young people see it as an opportunity to gain skills and experiences whilst also giving them the time to reflect and focus on what they want to do next after successful completion of their further studies. What I would say though, a productive gap year can be added to a CV with many employers, valuing the experiences students have gained, especially if they've actively managed their time and set themselves goals and stretched themselves within those opportunities. So a gap year can also enhance higher education studies. So if your young person has decided to apply for university, they could tailor their gap year to relate it to the subject area that they plan to study. Or if your young person decided they want to take a year out after completing their studies, it's important that they decide on what they want to achieve from that gap year. Is it a break from study? Is it a chance to gain new skills and experiences, earn money, spend time deciding what they want to do, or is it a combination of all of those things? So whether it's travelling, volunteering, paid employment or work experience, it's important that your young person fully researches their options. And there are a wide range of gap year companies and volunteering schemes available. So it's really important that you sort of check those out, how long they've been running, if they're financially sound, if they're members of a reputable organisation such as ABTA or the Year Out Group, and do they sort of follow a code of conduct? Because there are a lot of providers out there and it's really quite hard sometimes to find those reputable ones. So, you know, we've just kind of come across a few that you might want to kind of view to see some of the opportunities that are out there. But just be mindful as well that the cost can also vary dramatically, and so it's important that your young person maybe has a specific budget in mind. So Gap Force. If your young person is looking for an exciting travel adventure this summer, then Gap Force have a range of volunteering, scuba diving and group travel programmes available throughout June, July and August. We've also got Oyster Worldwide. They offer a wide range of opportunities, including animal welfare, conservation, adventure, trekking expeditions, teaching English abroad, sports coaching and ski seasons. You've also got Rayleigh International. They run 4, 5, 7 and 10-week international volunteering programmes aimed at 17 to 24-year-olds, and they have expeditions involving community and environmental projects that contribute to achieving the United Nations Global Goals for Sustainability Development. That's a big mouthful. So that's the SDGs, and an adventure leadership trek as well. It might be as well that, you know, they might fancy doing art history abroad, and that's, you know, an opportunity for them to immerse themselves in art, architecture, sculpture of Italy for 6 weeks, whilst also studying towards painting, architecture, sculpture, textiles, gardens, mosaics, you name it. Another one that's quite popular with some of our students is Camp America, and they offer 9 weeks of working as part of a US-based summer camp. And actually registrations for summer 2023 are open now, so it might be worth checking those out as well. And then you've got Changing Worlds, which offer a wide range of sport and non-sport community and career development projects abroad. And I've also just kind of popped on some links to some useful guides as well. So when we share those, you've got these to refer to as well. There are also paid gap year placements, you know, and they don't all have to be abroad. There are many UK-based companies that offer paid year placements or internships to enable young people to gain industry experience. And IBM are currently advertising for roles in things like technology sales, software development, junior development operations in engineering and test engineering, and also some junior management consultancy programs as well. And another really useful website is Nhs, which is the Year in Industry, and they have vacancies with companies working in technology, science, engineering, business and finance across the UK, with applications currently open for a placement in Cambridge, which is commencing in September, and that's for a young person that potentially is thinking about studying mechanical, software or electronics or technology or physics at university. But there again, if you want to look at sort of current vacancies, it's via the www.etrust.org.uk website, and a chance for you to see a lot of those opportunities. Volunteering. I know my colleague Louise also touched about this at the start of tonight's presentation, but there are so many wonderful benefits to volunteering, including gaining new employer connections, making new friendships, improving confidence, developing those character strengths for employability, improving mental well-being, contributing to the local to boosting the local economy, and helping to create a happy community. And it also looks fantastic on future CVs and applications. So just a few, you know, again, websites that you might want to have a look at. So the Do It website is a great source of both local and national volunteering opportunities. And they've got a great search engine and a portal to receive alerts of new opportunities based on your young person's interests. We've got Volunteer Suffolk. And they offer a variety of local opportunities and have a portal through Collective and Community Active Action Suffolk that your young person can register with, and that enables them then to apply for roles and keep up to date with new volunteering opportunities. And then we've also got Volunteering Matters, and they offer a range of youth social action programmes in Suffolk. Things like the health inequalities for Black and minoritised communities, the Respect Project, a Young Ambassador programme, a gang and exploitation toolkit, campaigning and lobbying for changes in policies and practices for young people. And as many of these sort of final projects and resources are created like as podcasts or short films, they're also keen to work with creative young people. And, you know, we as part of the Eastern Colleges group do an awful lot with volunteering matters around youth and social action. And if your young person wants to volunteer but doesn't know where to start, we have got the Volunteers Week, which is a great time to start finding out about those opportunities, and that's between the 1st and 7th of June. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about is virtual work experience as well. So one of the positive aspects of lockdown was the increased number of virtual opportunities that have become available to young people, including work experience. So many local, national and global companies have continued with these, and there are now a number of organisations dedicated to promoting and recruiting for these opportunities. And they offer things like the live discussions with employers, maybe kind of, you know, completing some mini projects or tasks, so that they can get a feel of an industry or working with experts. With regards to developing, you know, kind of work placement skills, and finding out more about the roles and, you know, kind of like industries and sectors that they might want to go into, but also as well being able to strengthen their professional profile. So a lot of them are accredited or provide a certificate or something at the end, which they can then pop onto personal statements, CVs, and, you know, will help their applications to stand out. So again, just some of the, you know, opportunities that you might want to have a look at with your young person. Forage is, you know, a range of bite-sized 5 to 6 hour virtual work experience programs that give students a genuine career advantage with over 500 national and global companies. It's free to all applicants. On completion, they'll receive a digital badge that they can then pop up on their social networking platforms. And it also, again, gives an insight into the different kind of industries, organisations, roles. And at the moment, you know, they've got lots of really great opportunities within climate and sustainability through BCG. There's an on-premise sales virtual experience program with Red Bull, cybersecurity program with MasterCard, commercial banking with JP Morgan Chase, and that's just a few of them. You've also got SpringPod as well, and that's aimed at students from years 10 to 13. And again, these are free virtual programs which include approximately 10 hours of content that can be completed during the allocated dates at a pace that is suitable to the individual. So that can be sort of juggled around college work, part-time work. And these are a combination of live and recorded webinars, and they can be combined, like I said, with what they want to do and a chance to kind of, you know, view new opportunities as well. So what I would say is some of them have got, you know, a specific entry requirement. It might be that you need to be living in a certain area, and many of the summer programs have, you know, kind of deadlines around May, so it's worth looking at those. But some of the interesting ones that I had a look at was there's one called Sounding Out a Future Career, which is with regards to amazing careers in acoustics, and that could be within the environment, architecture, innovation, technology and health, and also one with access to property, as well as some of the Health Education England programmes as well. If your young person is looking to get and gain some experience actually within, you know, sort of the medical professions, you have got things around the Nhs Talent Academy as well. So they offer a wide range of online work experience placements within health and care across the various regions. And a lot of the participants that get involved with these have access to informal discussions where they can, you know, sort of pose questions to healthcare professionals. They're able to highlight entry routes, qualification timelines, different career opportunities, and they can also gain an overview of the patient pathway, day-to-day routines and tasks, as well as identifying the most important kind of skills and qualities that healthcare professionals need to have to develop their career. So some of the upcoming opportunities through Suffolk and Norfolk East Health and Care Academy, there's a psychological wellbeing practitioner session, physiotherapy, midwifery, nursing and learning disability support as well. And then finally, I've just popped on there Uptree as well, which is a free professional networking platform designed to help young people get started in the world of work by gaining work experience, as well as helping them to find apprenticeships and other opportunities. They can join a portal, set up their own personal profile, and then they'll be kind of sort of navigated around careers events, work experience days, and any sort of latest opportunities. So with regards to super curricular activities, it's a little bit different. You know, some people get kind of extracurricular activities and supercurricular activities a little bit muddled up sometimes. But generally, a supercurricular activity is actually one where you go over and above the subject that you're actually studying. So it's actually looking at and experiencing things that maybe you've started learning around, you know, the subject that you're studying at college, but actually taking that further. And that might include things like, you know, reading books, magazines, journals, visiting museums and galleries, you know, and sort of listing other things on there, documentaries, podcasts, online seminars, lectures, and academic competitions. And the University of Cambridge have a really fantastic supercurricular suggestions PDF, which I've put the link on this presentation for, as well as some other example resources. But again, it's a wonderful way for a young person to actually demonstrate that they are willing to take their subject over and above, and it looks fantastic again on university applications and personal statements. So then we have Mooc as well, which could be also seen to be a part of the supercurricular activity, which is the massive open online courses. And these are courses delivered online and accessible to all, again, for free. And they typically comprise of pre-recorded video, lessons, readings, assessments and discussion forums. And they offer a massive variety of content and can give young people an opportunity to explore some content from the career that they aspire to do. So students can go on, search for courses that interest them, and they can be really useful to overcome the issues of not being able to access work experience in a chosen profession, as they also show interest and initiative. And I've popped up some of the main websites where your young person can gain access to these free courses. And then finally, competitions. A lot of people think, well, why would I enter a competition? Well, it can also be a great platform for a young person to demonstrate and develop their talents and to gain recognition for the work that they are doing. You know, maybe also to help them to secure an internship, a scholarship or a job. And in some cases, they also give them exposure to some real world issues as well. So again, these are just some of the types of providers that you could visit to have a look at some of those competitions. So there's a lot within the sort of creative areas. Even some universities have their own competitions as well. So you've got UAL here. They do a variety of creative opportunities, and they're currently doing a Christmas card competition. So up to 6 winning students will receive a prize of £250, 6 packs of professionally printed cards. They will be sold in all of the Tate shops online. And so how wonderful would that look, you know, on a CV or application for the future? And then another one just I've highlighted is the Scansat competition, and that provides students the opportunity to have practical experience working on a small scale space project. And applications for 2023 open in June 2022. So it's a, you know, it's a simulation of a real satellite integrated within the volume and shape of a soft drink can. So again, you know, it takes a certain mind to be able to, you know, kind of put that all together. So again, it shows talent. It again can connect with employers and universities, helps to build your CV and portfolio, actually really helps to challenge yourself and also test your ideas. And just to finish off as well, like I said, we have talked to you an awful lot about information that is available to your young person. And a lot of these experiences and the relevant information is available via our Progression and Aim Higher Padlets. So we have those across all of the Eastern Colleges group for Abbeygate Sixth Form and also West Suffolk College. And what you have is a variety of, you know, sort of subsections on a Padlet where they can access information around college news, apprenticeships, employment, self-employment, understanding the job market, university and work experience and placements. And the Aim Higher Padlets are also aimed at students applying to university, but especially the additional things that they can get involved with for higher tariff and Russell Group University entry as well. And I'm just going to quickly just click on one for you, just so you can have a quick look to see what it looks like. This goes out to all students and is updated on a Wednesday and can be viewed either on the main college websites or for some of our careers teams, we also send it out via a weekly email as well. So that is kind of me, but hopefully that's been kind of useful to get you thinking about how your young person can start planning their summer and all the wonderful things that they can do to help them really kind of make their progression applications stand out from the crowd. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gaynor. It really is just amazing, isn't it? When you look at all of the different options that are available to young people now, you know, sort of gone are the days of you finish your A levels or whatever you're doing and then you just go over to university or you get a job. There is so much out there now for young people to be exploring and to be doing to enhance, as you say, their CV or applications for the future. Because even if they don't want to go to university this year or next year, it's something that's still going to help them in years to come. You know, if they decide in 5 years that they'd like to go to university, it's still a fantastic thing to have on an application like that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Lovely. So there aren't too many questions in the chat. It looks like all of them have been answered so far, but if you do have any further questions or anything for Gaynor, don't forget to pop them in the chat and Gaynor can answer those for you. So last but not least, we have the lovely Healey. So Healey will be talking to you about the employment route after college and sixth form. So I will hand over to Healey. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Okay. Bear with me while this is loading. Lovely. Okay, so yeah, my name is Healey. So I work in the Enterprise Advisor Network program. And what that is that we work with schools and colleges across Norfolk and Suffolk to help promote careers. And we work really closely with West Suffolk College, Abbegate and 1 sixth form. So I'm the enterprise coordinator for 1 sixth form and my colleagues work with the others as well. So what I'm going to be speaking about today, I'm going to give a quick overview of how we're supporting careers and the really great work that they're doing across the network. And then I'm going to be going into some of the labour market information, which should hopefully be quite interesting for you to see kind of the emerging patterns and job roles that are becoming available as well. So the New Anglia Enterprise Advisor Network. So we want to improve the outcomes for all young people in New Anglia. And like I said, we work with schools and colleges, with West Suffolk College, 1 Abbegate being those that we work with. And I always say we are that little bridge between education and the world of work. And we work with across 1 West Suffolk and Abbegate through the helping them to achieve the 8 Gatsby benchmarks. And so you can see there on the right hand side that they are the 8 Gatsby benchmarks. So these are what your young people will be, what kind of careers education they'll be having in sixth form and college. So you can see that covers a variety of places there. And what's really great is that I know for one and Abbeygate that they're currently meeting 6 out of the 8 Gatsby benchmarks. I'm not too sure on the West Suffolk College. I didn't have that information to hand, I'm afraid, but we would be able to get that for you. But this is above the national average, which is fantastic to see the great work that's happening across the centres as well. And they're doing this through a variety of different ways. And one thing that we do to help is that we help to match employers with the site, and we have and what we call them enterprise advisors. So this is Alice and James, who are the enterprise advisors at One. James works for, well, he's the director of superstructures, and Alice is for Creative Nation. So there's they're bringing in different areas of expertise, which is great. And this is again the same for West Suffolk College and Abbeygate as well. And what is really fantastic is I put a photo in the middle there, is that actually, you know, the employers are having access to the talent pipeline as well. So they're working with the students, they're helping them to understand about the world of work, but also they're kind of seeing the, you know, this as an opportunity to be able to employ the local talent and have them coming into their businesses as well. And so this was in the middle there, that was a newspaper article of some of the degree apprentices going into superstructures. So that's just a little bit of an overview about what the Enterprise Advisor Network does with the different sites across One, West Suffolk and Abbeygate, but also the where who I work with. So we're part funded by the Careers and Enterprise Company and the New Anglia LEP. For the New Anglia LEP, we look at the emerging patterns. And what I'm going to be speaking about now is the strategic economic plan. So I think this goes to 2036. So it's a very sort of long-term plan, but they're looking at this and what they can do over the next 5 years to really create the sort of clean growth region within Norfolk and Suffolk. So obviously this is the local labour market information, and you can see that the 3 main areas there. So we have clean energy, we have agri-food and ICT, creative digital sector. So these are those 3 main sectors. So this might be something that you want to help your young people be thinking about. Well, actually, that these are going to be those emergent patterns, and this is across Norfolk and Suffolk. That's going to be being promoted. More roles are going to be coming into these careers as well. And we also have, so although these are the 3 main kind of the focus, we also have those underpinning sectors as well. And as we can see on this slide, I won't read through them all, but these are the underpinning sectors. So, and across these sectors, they are that opportunity for collaboration. So, for example, we have construction and development, but also creative industries. And within that could come under the creative digital sector. Well, actually, we know that the construction and development sector really want these creative individuals coming in to be working for them. Maybe that's in the marketing side, but what these can all kind of entwine with each other as well. So we also have like the financial services and insurance, health and social care. These are all going to be, having more support in advertising roles within there. And we've also, ports and logistics, that is a very large group, especially with having Felixstowe close to us as well, and their port. So this just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea about when your students are making their decisions of what they want to do with their careers. Well, actually, where can they fit within these sectors that are, I guess, which are the main sectors within Norfolk and Suffolk. And I know Gaynor previously spoke about the different creative competitions that are happening, the super and extracurricular activities as well, and gap years. Well, actually, they're all really important as well, which helps to bring in to give students more experience within these areas as well. So they kind of all link together there. And down the bottom, we have voluntary, community and social enterprise as well. So if we're thinking about sort of social enterprise or entrepreneurship, there is kind of our sister company, the New Anglia Growth Hub, and I will pop a link in the chat. So if you have any of your young people who are really interested in maybe starting their own business, or if they, you know, they have an idea that they want to bring to life and not really sure what they can do with it, the Growth Hub is there to help small businesses and help them to develop as well. So that would be a really good website, and they have really great people that you can speak to get more advice and support on that. So I will post that link in the chat in a moment, so you can have that if you have any young people who are interested in starting their own business. And this is just some numbers there, so you can kind of see this is our economy at a glance, but that's a lot of numbers. What I wanted to focus on is actually, you know, that 25% higher salary in green jobs, and one of the growth regions that we have is clean energy, like I mentioned before. So that's really positive news, and we know that the young people are really interested in helping support the environment as well, and businesses are trying to do more as well to become more sort of carbon friendly. So actually having young people interested and having knowledge on that is a skill that's going to be in demand with companies as well. And also within the STEM industries, and I know there is a lot of work as well going on at the moment to try get more females into the STEM roles as well. And so that's just kind of something to think about and take on board there. So I won't go too much into that. This is a very quick, I think I had 10 minutes. I'm not really too sure sort of how long I've been, but if anyone has any questions about the labour market information, I'm just going to go back onto the screen so you can see, or any questions on the three kind of growth areas of what the Suffolk and Norfolk strategy are trying to create. Please do pop them into the chat, and I'm able to refer to some useful sites as well that would be able to help with that. But this is just kind of a bit of an insight and a look into actually what roles are going to be emerging over the next 5 years. So there's going to be a lot more roles within clean energy, within agri-food and ICT and creative and digital sectors as well. And then again, we do have those underpinning sectors to think about, as we can see on here. But does anyone have any questions at all on this? My screen, I think, is frozen.
I think you're all good, Heiley. We haven't got any questions at the moment, but thank you so much.
Amazing. What I will do is I'm going to pop just this link in the chat there, just so it's not coming up at the moment. I'll do it in a moment, just so people can look a little bit more about maybe if they've got any young people who are interested in going into starting their own businesses or self-employment. I can refer them to the Growth Hub, who have a real insight into that and can help answer any questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. That's really, really useful. Thank you. So yeah, if you could pop that link in the chat, that'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. So if nobody has any questions, I'll sort of do a little wrap up. Thank you. Just as another reminder, if you haven't had a chance to scribble down lots of notes and things, then we will be sending out an email in the next few days, which has a link to the live recording, and it will have all of the links that everybody's mentioned and popped in the chats and things, as well as some extra useful websites, as well as some of the resources that we'll be sharing with your young people as well. So thank you so much to everybody who has spoken today. I've certainly learned a lot. I hope you have as well, watching at home. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for giving your evening to come in and learn on how to further support your young people. I hope you found it useful, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.